Princess Dani of the Zephyran Empire had refused 47 marriage proposals in the span of 3 solar cycles. Her father, Emperor Thaxalon, had grown increasingly frustrated with each rejection. Suitors from across the galaxy had offered alliances, wealth, and power. But Dani remained unmoved. She had watched her crystalline reflection in the palace mirrors countless times, her iridescent skin shimmering with blues and purples, and wondered if she was broken somehow, incapable of feeling what others felt. The Zephyran were a logical species. Emotions were controlled, calculated, and carefully measured. Love, as Dani understood it from the ancient texts, was supposed to be a strategic alignment of compatible genetics and political advantage, yet every suitor who stood before her felt hollow, their rehearsed words echoing in the vast throne room like meaningless static. "You embarrass our house," her father had said after the 47th refusal. "The council questions your fitness to rule." Dani had simply bowed her head, accepting the reprimand. She couldn't explain what she was waiting for because she didn't know herself. Everything changed on the day the human delegation arrived. The Terran Federation was a newcomer to galactic politics, a young, chaotic species that had only achieved faster-than-light travel 2 generations prior. Most elder races considered them curiosities at best, dangerous wild cards at worst. Humans were emotional, unpredictable, and alarmingly creative. They had somehow survived their violent history and clawed their way to the stars through sheer stubborn determination. Dani watched from the observation balcony as the human ship docked. It was smaller than the grand vessels of other dignitaries, functional rather than ornate. She had no interest in attending the formal reception, but protocol demanded her presence. That's when she saw him. Jasper Chen was part of the Terran diplomatic security detail, standing at ease near the ambassador. He wasn't particularly tall by human standards, with dark hair and eyes that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. But there was something about the way he carried himself, alert yet relaxed, ready yet peaceful. While the other guards stood rigid, Jasper occasionally smiled at something the ambassador said, a genuine expression that reached his eyes. Dani felt her double hearts skip a synchronized beat. The sensation was so foreign that she nearly stumbled on the palace steps. Her attendant reached out to steady her, but Dani waved her away, unable to tear her gaze from the human. She had read about humans in the diplomatic briefings, their short lifespans, their fragile bodies, their tendency toward emotional extremes. None of that prepared her for the reality of seeing one in person. During the state dinner, Dani maneuvered herself to sit near the Terran delegation. She watched Jasper from across the table, fascinated by every movement. When he ate, he savored the food rather than consuming it for mere sustenance. When others spoke, he listened with his entire body, leaning in slightly, making eye contact. And when he laughed, a sound that came from deep in his chest, the vibrations seemed to resonate with something fundamental inside her. "Forgive me, Your Highness," came a voice beside her. It was Ambassador Rodriguez. "I notice you watching my security officer. I hope he hasn't committed some breach of protocol?" Dani's skin flushed a deep violet, the Zephyran equivalent of a blush. "No, Ambassador. I was merely curious about humans. We've had little contact with your species." Rodriguez smiled knowingly. "Would you like an introduction?" Before Dani could formulate a logical reason to decline, she found herself saying, "Yes." The ambassador gestured, and Jasper approached the table. Up close, Dani could see the details that made him real, the slight scar on his left hand, the way his uniform was perfectly pressed but worn with comfort, the warmth in his eyes as he bowed respectfully. "Your Highness," he said, his voice carrying a texture she'd never heard in any language. "It's an honor." "Tell me," Dani said, abandoning all pretense of royal composure, "why do humans take such risks? Your species explores dangerous territories, faces impossible odds, yet you persist." The briefings say you have a saying, "Hold my beer." What does it mean? Jasper's laugh was unexpected and wonderful. It means we're probably about to do something inadvisable with excessive confidence. His expression softened. But more seriously, we persist because we hope. Even when logic says we should quit, something in us believes tomorrow might be better than today. We're stubborn that way. Hope, Danny repeated, testing the word in the human language. Not calculation, not strategy. Sometimes the heart knows things the mind hasn't figured out yet, Jasper said, then seemed to catch himself. Sorry, that's probably too philosophical for a security guard at a state dinner. No, Danny said quickly. Tell me more. They talked through the remainder of the dinner, then through the reception afterward. Jasper spoke of Earth, its blue oceans and green forests, its billions of humans each living distinct, messy, beautiful lives. He showed her pictures on his datapad, children playing, old couples holding hands, strangers helping strangers after disasters. Every image was a revelation. We're not special because we're strong or logical or powerful, Jasper explained. We're special because we care, even when it's illogical. Even when it hurts. Danny understood then what she'd been waiting for all along. Not a strategic alliance or a genetic match. Not someone who fit into the careful calculations of royal duty. She'd been waiting for someone who felt real, who made her feel real. When her father summoned her the next morning with yet another arranged suitor, Danny knew what she had to do. I refuse, she said, then added, unless the suitor is Jasper Chen of Earth. The council chamber erupted in chaos. The Emperor's skin flickered through a spectrum of shocked colors. A human! Impossible! They live barely a century. They're emotional and illogical and they know how to hope, Danny interrupted, her voice steady. They know how to feel. Father, in 47 proposals, no one made me feel anything. In one evening, Jasper made me feel everything. The Emperor stared at his daughter, seeing perhaps for the first time the determination in her eyes, a very human quality in a Zephyron princess. This is highly irregular, he finally said. Yes, Danny replied, allowing herself a small smile, another thing she'd learned from Jasper. I believe humans would say I'm about to do something inadvisable with excessive confidence. 3 cycles later, the wedding united 2 species in a way no treaty ever could. As Danny took Jasper's hand, feeling the warmth of his skin against her cool, crystalline fingers, she understood that sometimes the most logical choice is to follow something beyond logic. Sometimes you just say yes.